Welcome to a shiny new nearly $1 billion behemoth airport built in the middle of nowhere, paid for by the Chinese government, centered around this four-faced golden statue, already bustling with influencers. And constructed so that loud airplanes don't cause damage to this nearly 1,000-year-old Buddhist temple nearby.
Hello. Cheers.
Hey, it's Jeremy Hubbard. Just arrived at the newest airport in the world. It literally had been open about 2 days before I showed up here. I'm one of the first passengers to ever walk these halls. We're going to show you how an entire country hopes this building changes its way of life and brings millions of tourists to this Asian nation. And also, we're going to introduce you to a cab driver.
Now the country is improved.
Who hopes that it turns things around for him too. It's all to come in this episode of Window Seat. Arriving on a gorgeous, humid, sunny October day via Singapore Airlines, it was sheer coincidence that I was among the first ever to walk the jetway, glance at the pristine terminal, and take in the beauty of the brand new Siem Reap Angkor International Airport. They'd barely taken the wraps off the luggage carts. Most of the stores weren't even open yet. But finally, here, after 3 years of construction, stood a beacon of hope for a country clamoring for tourist dollars after a tough few years post-pandemic. Why did they need a new airport? Take a look at this. This is the location of the old airport, just 3 miles from Cambodia's most popular tourist attraction, the Angkor Wat Temple Complex. Wow, would you just look at this place? I mean it when I say this is truly one of the most magnificent things I've ever seen in my entire life. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, the temple is truly stunning. The Guinness Book of World Records calls it the largest religious structure in the world. A Hindu-Buddhist temple built in, get this, the 1100s. The place is old and fragile, and it turns out officials worried vibrations from all those airplanes landing at the old airport were damaging Angkor Wat's foundation. And since this place is the #1 reason tourists come to Cambodia, they decided to take action. Their solution? This lustrous new airport built 25 miles away from Angkor Wat, a safe distance from damaging vibrations, designed to handle 65,000 flights and 7 million passengers every year, a number they expect to jump to 112,000 flights and 12 million passengers per year by the year 2040. Why? Well, Cambodia is a dream destination for a lot of tourists right now. People love coming here because of its ancient beauty and inexpensive costs. I mean, this place is still cheap. How cheap? A beer on Pub Street in Siem Reap will cost you about $1.
I'm pretty sure you can get pretty much anything you want on this street. It certainly seems pretty decadent.
Beautiful hotels like the one I stayed in cost about $35 US per night. What a steal. Did I ever tell you how much I love riding around in tuk-tuks? I could do this all the time. More cities need these vehicles. They're fantastic. And you can hire a tuk-tuk driver to take you around town and explore the ancient temples for about $15 a day.
How long does it take to get there?
About 1 hour.
Ooh, okay, very good.
You're your driver.
You're my driver? Okay.
I lucked out and got the amazing Sat Duam as my cab driver from the airport.
I'm from the United States.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Siem Reap,
Thank you.
Cambodia.
Yes.
He's from here, and just like me, he was just learning to navigate the brand new airport.
I have a tuk-tuk also.
Oh, you do? Okay.
As we drove the pothole-free new highway constructed to bring travelers to Angkor Wat from the airport, we passed rice fields and cashew groves, and he told me his life story and his hopes for the new airport.
I'm very young, so my parents and the family is not rich, it's poor.
Turns out Sat comes from a farming family, and growing up when he did in rural Cambodia was rough. The countryside is riddled with landmines. By some estimates, as many as 4 to 6 million landmines and other unexploded ordnance remain, placed here during a civil war in the 1970s and 80s. Sat's own brother was killed by a landmine when they were children.
And after that, my parents not allow me for study more.
Sat went to school and has a great education, speaks excellent English too, like so many Cambodians do.
I study English, I can speak. I study private school, 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
He'd hoped to continue his education, but his parents couldn't afford it. So now he drives a cab and a tuk-tuk to pay the bills for he and his wife. And he actually loves it because he loves showing off the country he's so proud of.
We are very happy when we meet the American customer. Really? Yeah.
He hopes the new airport brings lots of new people to see his homeland, and with it brings lots of opportunity for people like him. He's not alone in that hope. The Cambodian government's banking on an influx of tourists. Who else is banking on those arrivals? The country that paid for this place.
The airport cost about $880 million to build, and much of the bill was footed by China. In fact, China's the real focus here. By the time it's said and done, they hope to have 300 weekly flights to mainland China.
Cambodia is pinning its future and fortunes to China right now, receiving billions of dollars in infrastructure funding from the Chinese. And just weeks ago, Cambodia's prime minister signed even more new deals for future projects funded by China. Things like possible new rail links, even a light rail connection to the airport. China sees a lot of potential in this Southeast Asian country that's become so popular with tourists. They're even funding a new $1.5 billion airport in Phnom Penh, Cambodia's biggest city, to be opened in 2025. Some worry about China's growing presence in this country, pointing to the developments in this town right here. It's now a Chinese enclave where local residents are virtually outnumbered by Chinese people. Under the deal for this airport, the Chinese will operate it for 55 years and then turn it back over to the Cambodians in the year 2078. If you look around, you can see the new airport is leaning into its religious roots with this centerpiece smack dab in the middle of the terminal, a large, intricately designed statue of the four-faced Brahma made of copper. The four faces represent the four sublime states: compassion, kindness, sympathy, and equanimity. Its placement is meant to welcome tourists from all four directions in the airport, preserve the cultural heritage of Cambodia, and provide a legacy to future generations. Getting it in here wasn't easy. It weighs 6 tons, and it had to be reheated several times to make the copper parts fit together perfectly. Now it's all in place, the whole airport. The only thing left is for tourists to start showing up. And as we could see when we were there just 2 days after the doors first opened, they're already showing up in droves to this beautiful, big building.
Yes, it is just a building, but for so many people in Cambodia, this place represents so much more than that. It represents hope. And for people like Sat, our friendly cab driver, it represents the promise of an improved way of life after decades of hardship here in Southeast Asia. That's it from the world's newest airport. I'm Jeremy Hubbard in Siem Reap, Cambodia. Thanks for watching this episode of Window Seat.
We really do appreciate it, and we'd love it if you left a comment or liked and shared this video too. One other favor to ask: we'd love it if you hit that subscribe button so we can share our journeys as we travel to every country on Earth. Cambodia is country number 72 out of 197 for me. Lots more travels to go, and you'll see them right here. We're back with a brand new episode next Friday. In the meantime, please check out one of these other videos from Window Seat.